Welcome everybody to yet another Mando Lessons Live. Saturday noon Eastern Standard Time is when these things happen. Looks like we got a bunch of people in the chat already. That's what I like to see. Gonna catch up. We got County Cork, Cincinnati, Minnesota, New Jersey, Kansas City, Evansville, Illinois, Indiana, sorry. New Jersey, another New Jersey, South Jersey, Catskills, Pennsylvania. I feel like I maybe even saw a little China in there. Dan, good to have you. Minnesota, Michigan, Indy. All right. Well, great to have you all here. I'm sure more people will chime in as they join us here. Started off with a little bit of Cliffs of Moher. That's the tune of the week, so we're gonna play that together a little bit at the end of the session. But the way these work, if you haven't been here before, is it's pretty wide open. I love using this as a great kind of Q&A time, so if you got questions, throw them out there. I love hearing what people are working on. I'll take requests as long as they are in the public domain, usually traditional fiddle tunes that don't have words. So yeah, it's always a good time. No question too simple, no question too advanced. It's all open to whatever people want to talk about. It's a busy weekend for me. I played a 4 hours farmer's market, had an hour off, and then drove to a wedding that got me home at midnight last night on Saturday. Doing this today and then jumping right out of here and doing another wedding party. So then Sunday will be a little more chill, but it's been a long weekend already, so I apologize if I'm a little spacey. Didn't get the most amount of sleep I could have last night. All right, let's see what we got here. Michigan, Indy, Watertown, New York. Cool. Daryl says, joining from Michigan, can't be here for all the live stream, but we'll catch up later. Yep. So if you want, you can always find these later. They're always streaming whenever you want to watch them here on the Mando Lessons channel. So you can subscribe if you haven't already. What state do I live in? I live in Maine. Plymouth, Mass. Becoming a Patreon office hours member. Cool, Dan. Thank you so much. We just did our what is it? So what Dan's talking about is I do one of these live Mando Lessons live, which I call it office hours because it's for patrons only. So you can sign up on my Patreon page at $5 a month or more, and you get access to those monthly patron-only live streams. They're a lot like this, except they're a lot more chill, and I can really dive into topics a little more deeply because there's not as many people in the chat, and I'm not trying to fly through all the stuff. But yeah, so thank you, Dan, and thank you to everyone who supports me in various ways, whether it's Patreon or PayPal donations or checks in the mail or the YouTube super chat. It's all greatly appreciated, and I couldn't do it without you. So thank you all. AC says, I'm struggling with fast tremolo. Mine sounds like it's choked somehow, but a lot of players seem to sound like that too. I have something in mind, like the Dr. Zhivago theme. I struggled with this for a long time too, and I'm still no master of tremolo by any means. I think one thing you can do is just do it a lot. You'll build up your stamina and sort of your comfort with kind of having that fast tremolo. All right, we have Jeriganid. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing your name. Yes, you have tuned into a mandolin-themed live session. And if you have any questions, if you're a mandolin player, by all means, throw out any questions you might have. And if you Gained. I hope that's closer anyway. Yeah, so welcome. Great to have you in the chat. So we're talking about tremolo a little bit. I think one thing you can do, just take a really simple exercise like a scale. You can also work with those dynamics. So start out soft, then kind of build a nice swell, and then get to soft again, and then move up the scale. Whatever speed you're comfortable at. And a little bit of variation in the speed of the tremolo isn't a bad thing. You can start out, especially, if the speed matches the intensity. So if you're quiet, you can be a little slower. So you kind of speed up as you get louder. That's something you can work on. Try a couple different strings, like 2 strings at a time, to get that nice double stop sound. And yeah, I'd say just like go for it. Try to stay nice and relaxed. You can watch my video in the technique and fundamental section about how to play tremolo, and I give some tips on kind of subdividing the beat and staying relaxed, all that sort of stuff. Have you taught I Know Where I'm Going? I do not know that song or tune. Could I speak about rhythm and how I'd back up the tune you were just playing? Definitely. So the tune I just played, The Cliffs of Moher, a great Irish jig in the key of A minor. So the kind of the main chordal ideas in this tune are going to be an A minor and a G major. So I have more fleshed out lessons again in the technique and fundamental section of my website about how to play in jig rhythm. But the general idea is you're going to have your right hand, whether you're playing melody or accompaniment, is you're going to be going down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down. Little 3-stroke bubbles of down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. And that first down gets the beat, or down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, or jiggity, 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 strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak, down, up, down, down, up, down. And then you can turn that into a chord. In this particular instance, I'm going to use neither a major or a minor chord. Some people call it like an A5 or an open chord, power chord, whatever you want to call it. And it's just 2nd fret on the G and D strings, open A and E. And this, what I'm doing right now, is a great exercise just to kind of get your right hand moving, because it's a different pick direction than what you're used to with reels. So that is a nice open sounding chord. To make it minor, you could put your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. But the melody is going to be playing that note a lot, so I don't feel the need to do that. If you want, you can put a finger on the 4th fret of the A string. That makes it major. But I'm just going to do 2-2 open, open. G chord is just the regular old G chord. And then you can look at the chord chart for that tune to figure out what chords to play at what time. Wildwood Flower. I can try to play a little bit of that. There it is. I don't know any of the words. That's all I know of it. Let's see. All right, Phyllis from Morehead City, North Carolina. Thanks for joining in. All right, Asia from Tel Aviv. Michael has a request for 5 miles from town. I can definitely do that if I can remember how it goes. Lewis says, during the last office hours, Becky heard the folks talking about the left wrist pain, and she said she can relate. Yeah, it's definitely, we were talking in the office hours about, kind of, oops, I realized I'm on the wrong screen there. Staying nice and relaxed and a couple stretches what we were talking about in the last office hours. Do a little 5 miles from town. There it is, a little bit 5 miles from town. People start that tune. Some people use what I was just playing as the A part, as the B part, and swap the parts around. That's totally fine. I usually just go with whoever started the tune. All right, heading out. Can you do other instruments too? This is mostly a mandolin channel. If you're tuning in later, but for the most part, just mandolin. Occasionally, I'll pick up other mandolin-related instruments. That said, a lot of what I talk about is related to kind of any, if you play guitar or other fretted instruments, or whatever instrument you have, you're welcome to, play along with me during these things. Whatever you're working on, it sounds great. All right, Jeff from New Jersey. And then Bert says, I've only been at mandolin about a month, trying to learn chords in 3 or 4 different positions. Got a long way to go. Any tips? I think my biggest tip is, that's a great thing to do, especially, only what did you say, a month in? It takes a little while just to kind of build up that vocabulary. It's just like, learning a new language. And you're kind of jumping right into some of the deeper stuff by finding those chords in different positions. So kudos for that. It's a really great thing to do. I'd say get used to, I think the first thing to do is really get solid on just one different position for every chord, so you can chuck along with whatever you're working on, and you can kind of switch between chords, doesn't matter what they are. And then from there, you can, work towards adding, building up that repertoire of different positions and finding different chords that, kind of fit close together. So they sound close and they're close kind of to get your fingers between. And I would say just, add one at a time. Don't try to, learn a new chord position don't try to learn a half dozen G chord positions. Just, you know what you know, and then add one at a time and try to use it a lot. And then once you get comfortable with that and it's really second nature, move on to another one. Have Dog Will Travel, good to have you here. Greenville, South Carolina. Jane says, do you know how to play Du Petit Sarni? I do not know that one. I'll try to look it up at some point. Thank you so much, Have Dog Will Travel, for the super chat donation. As I was saying earlier, all these donations really help me continue doing what I'm doing. So thank you all for your support. Judah, good to have you here. Gray Owl. Oh, I can't quite remember. I never learned that tune properly. I've heard it a lot. I've played along with it, but I can't pull it off the top of my head, unfortunately. It's a great tune. There's some great versions of it on YouTube. I think some with Bruce Molsky. But yeah, definitely, if you don't know that tune, people who are watching that aren't Simone, check it out, because it's a great tune. And I'll try to learn it and maybe be able to play it another time. Something on the octave mandolin. Really thinking about buying one. Sure, I'll grab the octave mandolin. I don't know. I haven't played it in a while. Let's see if it's even relatively in tune, but it's a very fun sound. Let's see here. Where are we at? Let's see. Whoa! Not very in tune. Let's see what I can do here. Well, that tuner's broken. Or just out of batteries anyway. That's better. So I did a lesson a little while ago comparing mandolin, octave mandolin, and mandola. That people seem to like. I want a different pick than this, though. Yeah, I'll try that one. So this is an octave mandolin. No sponsorship or money coming my way for it, but the Eastman's making this great octave mandolin. I think it is new around $700, and used you can get it cheaper, although they're kind of in short supply because they just started making them. But it's a pretty solid arch. It's about the best value for an arch top octave mandolin I've found anyway. But I'm sure there's other ones out there. Sometimes you can get lucky in the used market, but usually they're quite expensive. But whatever that tune is. Shove that pig's foot a little further in the fire. I will play Smash the Windows. I need to look up how it goes. Because I can never quite remember how it starts. Let's see what I can find here. No, that's not it. I can't quite remember it here. I'm just looking at some tablature here to try to jog my memory, but it's not really happening. Let's see, I'll just play it off the tab and maybe it'll come back. Mechanically, yeah. Ooh, great request. That one's been a long time since I played that. That's probably the first fiddle tune I ever heard. When I was first starting to play the mandolin, I was over at a friend's house and I heard the kind of Nickel Creek self-titled album. Came out around 2000. I was like, what is that instrument? Heard Chris Thiele playing the Fox, and I was like, I like the sound of that. What is that? And he's like, oh, it's a mandolin. Let me show you one. He showed me a G, C, and D chord and played me that tune. And then sent me on my way with a mandolin banjo that I then used to learn on for a little while. So that's kind of the tune that I think of as the first fiddle tune I ever consciously heard. All right, let's see. Smash the window. Chordal, yep. Let's see. Yeah, it's a nice sound. Love the octave mandolin sound. Is it tuned the same way? Yep. G, D, A, E is just an octave lower. If I learn the regular mandolin, is it transferable? Absolutely. The only thing that changes is sometimes you'll change your fingering, so your pinky will hit the 5th fret rather than your ring finger. It turns into more guitar fingering a lot of the time, unless you've got big hands. I kind of go back and forth between mandolin and guitar fingering. Yeah, definitely a little bit of an adjustment. Robert says wide fret spacing. Will I ever put out lessons for octave mandolin? I don't know that I will. I pretty much just play the octave mandolin like the regular mandolin. So, besides, like I said, the fingering change, it's all the same. All the tunes work. They're all in the same, it's all just kind of transferring over what you know to a larger instrument. So I'd say, if you play some mandolin and you're interested in an octave mandolin and pick one up, you'll be well on your way already just from having played the mandolin. Play a little chordal jig on it and slightly different. Well, let's try this pick. No, don't want that pick. I'm experimenting with some new picks, so I'm just gonna look around in here. I'll keep using this one. Chordal jig. How does that one go? little bit of chordal jig. Yeah, it sounds nice with kind of those. I really like playing octave mandolin and kind of, you know, that whole family of instruments, whether it's octave mandolin or tenor guitar or bouzouki, on, you know, a lot of those nice kind of beautiful jigs and slower tunes, because you really let the instrument ring out, and it's got so much more sustain than a mandolin. It just kind of can go and go and go. So it's nice to put that to use. Back to the little guy. Let's see. Cool. Judah says, I like the version that you and Noah play on Fine Times. Yep, so my friend Noah and I, if you haven't already, we did put out an album last year called Fine Times. There's a link to it from MandoLessons.com if you go to the, shop page or something like that. Kind of a duo mandolin album. And not to give anything away, but you are about to meet him in a lesson coming up. So subscribe if you haven't already, and you'll see that coming out this week. Micah says, have you ever played the Gold Tone Mandocello? I have not, but I've heard good things, and I'd love to check one out. It seems kind of in the same line of, you know, instruments that are usually pretty uncommon, like an octave mandolin. It seems like the Gold Tone Mandocello is a really reasonably priced mandocello that is getting good reviews, and it's cool because it's like got a pickup on it, and it seems pretty versatile. But I hope to run into one of those someday. All right, let's see here. I might, just because I've got a whole lot of stuff going on today, I think we might segue now into, I might cut this one a little bit short so I can make sure to get some lunch before I go to my gig. So let's play a little bit of The Cliffs of Moher. So get your mandolin out and tuned up if you haven't already, and we'll play along with this one. We'll swap back between playing chords and melody, and I'll answer a couple of these questions real quick. Would all the chords be the same? Yep, chords are the same. You know, I'd have to adjust kind of some of your chord shapes, because like that big G chop chord isn't going to work on an octave mandolin because your fingers can't stretch that far. At least mine can't. But you'll find some kind of different voicings that sound good. But all your chords, you know, G, C, D, E minor, A minor, that all is going to work just the same. What was the make of your octave mandolin again? It's made by Eastman, and it's the, what is it, MDO 305. Where can I find a pocket for my mandolin case without buying a gig bag? I wish I had an answer for you. I've just been thinking about that a lot today because I love gig bags, but I don't love gig bags when I'm traveling, and I would love to. I was just actually thinking, like, I wonder if I could just like do like Velcro tape. It would not look nice, but you know, like put some Velcro tape on my like guitar or mandolin, and like build a little Velcro on pocket that could go on and off as needed. It would look ridiculous, but it might accomplish what needs to be done. Yeah, there's no, you know, that's the great thing about gig bags is they hold a lot of stuff. The problem is they're not as protective as a hard case. So yeah, let's play a little bit of Cliffs of Moher. I'm going to just pull it up because I always play this tune a little bit different, and I want to at least start out like I taught it on the website. Alright, let's see here. So, Cliffs of Moher. Cool. So this is in the key of A minor. It's mostly A minor and G. On the website I also have some E minors thrown in there, but play whatever chords sound good to you. People are going to do it all different ways. The way this works is we'll play it together so you can play along with me. I'll start by playing the melody and you can join me there, or play the chords while I play the melody and kind of create that full sound. And then I'll play the chords and you can play the melody, and we'll swap back and forth. I'll add in some ornamentation, things like that. If you're new to the tune, just try to pick up whatever you can. If you know the tune, but you're still working on it, see if you can just get through it nice and solid. Let's take this as a time to practice the tune a couple times through. If Cliff's More is old news to you and you've played it a million times, see if you can add some ornamentation like double stops and triplets and slides and things like that to spice it up a little bit, just so you're pushing yourself no matter where you're at with this tune. Start out there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, I forgot to change the chords. We'll do the melody one more time. Here we go, you play the melody. A2. B. Play chord. Go for it. B. There we go. A little bit of, oops, a little bit of Cliff's More. Always fun. Thanks for joining in on that. Let's catch up with the chat here. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. Sorry I got to cut this one a little short, but got to keep my day going and get off to this gig. Hope you all have a great afternoon. Let me see if I'll be back next time. I feel like I might have said I wasn't going to be here this week, but I decided to try to cram a little bit in anyway. up in the air next week as well. But, stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't already, and usually you'll check out and see it'll say, going live in 2 hours or something if I am able to do it. Try to give you guys a little heads up. Oh, all right. Bert says my Papa came in last Saturday. Really enjoying it. Nice mellow tone. I thought it would have been not. Plays real good. Cool. That's great. Yeah, that mandolin's going to be great, and it's only going to get better as you put some time into it. All right. Once again, thank you all so much for the super chats and the donations through PayPal and the Patreon supporters. Really couldn't do it without you. And I will see you all in a week or so. Stay tuned. All right. Bye-bye.